the beginning, I was told to send messages to these biggies so that they invite me to their birthday parties and all of that, which I refused to do at that point also because I was very uncomfortable doing that. Even now, I don't do that. First of all, people didn't expect me to get married or what. The roadblock with camps or, you know, the great nepotism word that we speak about is the problem of access. If there is a big film getting casted and if my name is taken in that room, that people will say ke, "Arey, isse nahi ho payega." I'm sure nobody will disrespect me like that. No. But the problem is that name only will not be taken because there will be 50 other recommendations before. Yeah. And I don't have someone who's going to stand there recommending my name. There is a long queue of actresses who would want to be a part of it only for the sake of being a part of the big films. And वो ऐसे हम सारे उसके लिए ऐसे हैं कि अगर आप एक बोल में चिट डाल के सबको मिक्स करके उठा लो कोई भी नाम ना, anybody will be good enough to do that part. It doesn't require any kind of a speciality of any sorts to कि अच्छा ये इसके अलावा तो कोई और कर ही नहीं पाएगा. ये वो parts नहीं होते हैं. But all of us vie for it. I'll tell you why. Because it gives us an audience.
Hello everyone, I'm Rudrani and welcome to this very special series called Wonder Women. Happy Women's Day. And today with me is a woman that I admire. She inspires us and she also lives her life most authentically. It's very difficult to do that in this industry, I know, and besides that, she's so talented that she never forgets to believe in herself, and we don't forget to do that either. Talking about the beautiful Taapsee Pannu. Hello.
Hi, right now I'm like, okay, she says the Haseen Taapsee Pannu. Yes.
Please, Haseen Taapsee Pannu, and how? I would like to believe that she's dressed up for us, ladies and gentlemen, for Women's Day, and we'll keep it to that.
Yeah, let's believe that.
Let's believe that. Very convincing we are. But you look beautiful.
Thank you.
And it is a very special occasion. Thank you for doing this.
That was long pending, Rudrani. I was like, रुद्रानी is going to curse me. मतलब मैं नर्क में जाऊंगी अगर मैं रुद्रानी को अब ये टाइम नहीं दूंगी तो I was like, I have to do it.
Well, this is a joke, ladies and gentlemen. I could never curse her. Because किसी औरत ने curse किया बोलेंगे मुझे. You know, I could never curse her. But on that note, your life has come in a full circle with, of course, one of her biggest movies right now, which of course everybody and the whole world knows that of course it was Mr. Shah Rukh Khan was there with her. Ma'am was of course
I was there with Shah Rukh Khan, rather let's just say it like that.
We'll believe. Listen, Mr. Shah Rukh Khan also puts his name last. So your name comes in first.
Yeah, let's not get used to such chivalry. Not everybody has it, so let's just not get too used to it.
The movie did very, very well, of course. I didn't see Taapsee shouting from rooftops as usual. I know you have your own reasons also for that. But it also, I think, comes from a place of security for a really long time. I know anybody else would have really gone out and really tried to push it. I know you really didn't.
There were two reasons behind it, honestly. First was, you know, I feel actions speak louder than words. When there are numbers pouring in, why do I need to push it when it's already as a basic logic is you connect numbers and you understand it is doing well. So why do I need to shout and scream and overdo it? फिर वो लगता है ना चोर की दाढ़ी में तिनका, वो नहीं लगना चाहिए. When it's just so organically flowing and it's not one of those small films. होता क्या है? Usually I'm used to doing those smaller mid-budget films where we get the noise about such a film gets lost. Sometimes yes, it gets heard also, but most of the times it gets lost. So even if it's doing well at the box office, it's in positive in making numbers for the producer, it gets lost because it's sandwiched between something big or you know there's something else that's taking over the media at that time. So then whoever is the leading person, be it me or there's a hero or whoever it is, wants to push it out there to make sure people notice it and not just like shove it under the carpet saying कि हाँ ठीक है. So those films need this kind of push sometimes. But this film, people were waiting for it for the longest time. And when it came out, people were like, okay, cried, laughed, whatever. And I feel 100% खुशी तो भगवान भी नहीं दे सकता किसी को. So I kind of have given up hope on everybody liking any film, for that matter. But the numbers are there to validate everything. So why do I need to do anything anymore? And second reason, Udrani, was something that I have started feeling lately. It was also because, I sometimes get tired of always pushing and driving the films that I do. Because it takes a lot of energy from me to always like spearhead and headline. It takes a lot of energy. It's not just about going and doing your job and coming back. When you are committed to see yourself as a star someday, you have to invest in much more than between action and cut. So that kind of investment from you as a human being takes a toll on you if you're doing it successively back to back. So this one was that gift I got from the universe and primarily from Raju sir, that you worked really hard for 10 years in this industry. Here's a gift where you don't have to do anything, just to come do action cut ke beech mein your job and sit back, relax and let everything happen in the best possible way. It was so relaxing, Udrani. I didn't have to stress about anything कि marketing कैसी हो रही है, कि कितने screens मिल रहे हैं. I'm invested so much that I keep a count of the screens that are given to my films, because there are like very few screens, for films like the films I do. So कितने shows मिल रहे हैं, कौन से shows मिल रहे हैं. You're always fighting against the bigger film perpetually. So it gets draining and you get burnt out. So this time it was like that backseat ki chill ride, where there are the best in the business taking care of everything else. And I was so lucky that I got a part that is not there as a showcase, the showpiece part. Thankfully, I just got lucky, ऐसा नहीं है कि अगर मुझे कुछ showpiece वाला part देते तो मैं मना कर देती. Honestly, वो combination के साथ कौन नहीं करना चाहेगा कुछ भी यार. मुझे एक scene भी देते मैं करती उस picture के अंदर. I just got lucky that they wanted me to do this role, which was like there from the start to the end of the film. So yeah, everything just, I think, because I kind of burnt myself out a lot in the last 10 years, I guess this was the gift that I got, and that's why I wanted to enjoy it, like calmly sitting on that back seat. So that's why you didn't see me, shouting at the top of the roof, or making too much of noise about it, because it was people who were doing it for me. So I wanted to enjoy and relax, because I know the next one, I again have to do it. So I was kind of like re-energizing myself with all this love, so I can go there and battle it out again.
But I'm delighted for you. I know the kind of work that you're trying to put out, and I know how difficult it is.
Yeah.
Like you said, for someone like you who wants to put out good content, is abhi ke time mein particularly, where all the money are being put on tentpole films. And you're a producer.
Yeah.
And you're an actor who wants to be part of bigger projects, but the projects that you believe in.
Yeah.
Right? How difficult that has been for you to try, again, to tell stories told by women about women, because you primarily also believe in that.
Yeah, but you have to be smart in this business. You have to be very secure with your ethics, and at the same time understand the business to make sure you're not like bulldozed in this process of trying to do something that you want. I always quote this, that I don't want to be that palm tree or that coconut tree that hawa is zor se and you'll just break. I want to be that money plant that will keep growing and find its way through.
Yeah.
So I want to be that. So what is going to happen now is, we all are seeing the kind of films getting made, the way the budget sanctioning is happening for the films. Everybody wants to do action. Everybody wants to do a part 2, part 3 of films that have already happened. There's a lot of fear about, naya type ka content, nahi, audience doesn't want to see it. OTT pe chalega. But what is the irony of the situation? OTT doesn't want the content that gave OTT the image that it has, that iske andar kuch hat ke aata hai. कुछ बियॉन्ड द रेगुलर मसाला स्टफ ऑफ थिएट्रिकल, उसके बियॉन्ड कुछ आता है OTT पे. ये वी न्यू OTT लाइक दिस कि जब हमें थिएटर में जो टिपिकल वाली फिल्में नहीं होती वो देखनी होती है, वी स्विच ऑन दी OTT, राइट.
और वहाँ पे कुछ हटके मिलेगा.
हाँ, बट अब वो नहीं आता है बिकॉज दे ऑल्सो वॉन्ट the same set of stars doing the same set of things and the same kind of theatrical वाली फिल्मों की जो stories and you know those trigger points of इसमें इतना action, इसमें इतना comedy, इसमें ये, इसमें मसाला, ये वो, they also want the same ingredients. So in this time it becomes so difficult to introduce something which is little can be path breaking, because path breaking is a big risk and it only involves a lot of instinct that you believe कि ऐसा ये चलेगा. बट ये चीज़ दोनों साइड से होनी चाहिए, सिर्फ बनाने वाले की तरफ से नहीं. द OTT who is taking it up also needs to believe it. So the budgets are getting exhausted in taking up those biggies. So the conventional smaller mid-budget films which found home on these OTTs are homeless today because the budgets have been given away to the biggies. So that's the struggle we are facing in films today, and that's the fight that's going on. Cinema changes, I feel, after every 5 years. Something new happens and then you struggle to fit in, and then you eventually you find a solution to it, you settle down, understand the dynamics, and then you know again 5 years के बाद फिर कुछ आएगा. We understand that, but this is the present state where the struggle is कि formula चल रहा है. The formula that a few years back we thought is changing is we are back to the old formula. Now the content is the king जो OTT पे होता था, that definition according to me is also shifting. That's also because of the palette of the audience is changing. So now if I have to do films where I'm the hero, I need to be very mindful of, is audience going to receive this hero properly, like happily, or they'll get offended or they'll get upset by seeing too much of radical approach in a film. You cannot make them feel uncomfortable anymore. You know, when you talk about subjects or situations where you have to look into your lives and feel like, oh, I think I'm doing something wrong. Oh, maybe this is not how it's supposed to be. Those were the films that made you feel uncomfortable. When I did a Pink, when I did a Thappad, when I did a Mulk or even Manmarziyan for that matter, that made you feel a little uncomfortable because you questioned your own self and your own life. For all this time you thought, okay, it's all fine and you're doing all good, but you actually rethink when you look at it because you feel like ye to something that happens with us or around us. So that kind of stuff, honestly, if you ask me today, I don't think it will get sanctioned. A film like Thappad, me and Anubhav sir discussed it so many times. I don't think it will get sanctioned today to be made.
तापसी पन्नू as an actor, जिनके कुछ beliefs है, जिनके कुछ एक विचारधारा है, और तापसी पन्नू as a producer, again, जिनके कुछ beliefs है और विचारधारा है, इस तरह के environment में कैसे hustle और survive कर रही है फिलहाल?
I think मैंने ये बात तो मान ली थी कि hustle कभी बंद ही नहीं होगा यहाँ पे. यहाँ पे कभी भी आपको जब भी आपको लगेगा अच्छा अब रिलैक्स करते हैं, देयर विल बी अ न्यू चैलेंज और तुम्हारे को अगेन यू हैव टू बी ऑन योर टोज. सो एज अ प्रोड्यूसर एंड एन एक्टर आई फील, एक तो मैं ना अपने जिस तरह की फिल्म्स और चॉइसेस की वजह से आई हैव एन ऑडियंस, मैं वो नहीं छोड़ सकती बिकॉज उसी ने तो मुझे इमेज दी है जो मेरी है. इन द बार्गेन टू गेट something else which might be bigger, I cannot lose this audience that I have built very organically over past 10 years. So I need to marry these two worlds somehow. So as a producer, again, all my films or projects, series, whatever I'm going to produce, you can see it and you can say that this is something you can believe that I have produced. You know, when Dhak Dhak came, it was probably won't have been too difficult for people to believe that I'm a producer on that film. So will be the other films that are going to come in the future. It will have my aesthetics of the kind of films that I've been doing and choosing as an actor. But yes, I have to make sure the business of it falls in place. There will be times I have to compromise over few things to make it work so that at least that story can come out. Because otherwise, if I become too hell-bent on कि ये तो यही इसी तरीके से बननी चाहिए और यही सब करने चाहिए, वो बनेगी ही नहीं. वो अभी मैं इतनी बड़ी प्रोड्यूसर नहीं हुई हूँ कि जहाँ पे मैं बोलूँ कि यही करेगा या करेगी तो ऐसे तभी बनना चाहिए. एंड ट्रस्ट मी रुद्रानी, इन द इंडस्ट्री राइट नाउ I don't know if there is any producer who can be this hellbent saying कि मुझे लगता है कि ये content के लिए ये इंसान fit है, without looking at the business aspect of it, and he or she will get funded for that project. I don't think there are any producers like that in the industry right now.
जो कि पहले थे. As an actor, पहले आपने बहुत सारे obnoxious conversations सुने होंगे, you know, when they're about it, and particularly also because you very worked hard to be in a position of power where you get to finally say what you want. How are those conversations going today? Because I feel like again we have come to a door जहाँ पे like you are explaining to me as a producer ये हो रहा है, and you know, in powerful rooms where we can dictate कि ये content चाहिए.
Now action film में बहुत चल रही है जैसे कि okay, so now if a female wants to do an action film, because most of the action films in which the hero is the center stage, which is not a problem, but there is not enough or much for the girl to do. Either you are able to look hot and sexy enough to be a part of those films. अगर तुम नहीं हो, तुम शायद वो करना चाहोगी. I did that in Baby and Naam Shibana, and that was purely, again, as I said, probably partly because of luck and partly because the makers believed that ये लड़की मेहनत करेगी. So I got that part.
Hot and sexy part तो था नहीं वो.
Yeah, hot and sexy नहीं था वो, exactly. So but if a film like that I have to mount today, अगर नीरज सर डिसाइड करते हैं कल को बेबी नाम शबाना की फ्रेंचाइज के साथ अगर मैं सैंक्शन कराऊं प्रोजेक्ट, तो पैसे मिल जाएंगे बिकॉज इट्स अ सीक्वल, इट्स अ फ्रेंचाइज. बट इफ आई हैव टू स्टार्ट समथिंग ब्रांड न्यू एक्शन के साथ, एक लड़की के साथ, the budgets don't get approved unless and until it's part of a certain universe that's already successful. अगर मुझे स्टैंड अलोन एक लड़की पे बेस्ड एक्शन फिल्म करनी हो, वो बजट अप्रूव नहीं होते हैं उस चीज़ के, एंड यू कैन नॉट मेक एक्शन फिल्म्स इन स्मॉल बजट्स बिकॉज यू गोना डू अ वेरी शॉर्टी जॉब, और वो फिर वो दिखेगा कि तुमने यू नो यू कट कॉर्नर्स, एंड वो VFX ठीक से नहीं होगा या स्केल ढंग से नहीं दिखा सकते तुम, मतलब कितना क्या मतलब कहाँ लगाओगे और क्या बचाओगे, तो वो it's not fair to an action film to be made in that kind of a small budget. So we are fighting that problem in those big rooms where even if you go with a masala wali film, but if it's headlined by a female, it will not get approved because the budget will not be allocated, even if it's touching all those beats of commercial masala cinema. That is still a problem. And then of course अगर लड़की की फिल्म है कोई, and then if you are one of the female parts in it, there is a long queue of actresses who would want to be a part of it only for the sake of being a part of the big films. And वो ऐसे हम सारे उसके लिए ऐसे हैं कि अगर आप एक बोल में चिट डाल के सबको मिक्स करके उठा लो कोई भी नाम ना, anybody will be good enough to do that part. It doesn't require any kind of a speciality of any sorts to कि अच्छा ये इसके अलावा तो कोई और कर ही नहीं पाएगा, ये वो parts नहीं होते हैं. But all of us vie for it. I'll tell you why. Because it gives us an audience so that I can do those films that I believe in, which are not conventional commercial films, so to say. So this is a give and take that a lot of actresses like me try to do कि हमें ये हम कर लेते हैं ताकि हमारे को वो करने को मिले जो हमें करना है.
So for you, I know which will make lesser work.
Yeah, but that lesser work was always planned, you know, in a way, because I knew the day I hit a film like Dunki, I don't want to run around and do 5-6 films in a year, because it's not like out of pleasure that I'm running from one set to the other, burning myself out. I want to enjoy the process. I am not here, मैं दिहाड़ी बनाने के लिए नहीं actor बनी हूँ. I need to enjoy the process, and I want to enjoy the prep. I want to enjoy the entire planning of how we're going to execute it. I want to do that, but वो time ही नहीं मिलता था because I was just hustling to make my presence felt over the last 10 years. कि कोई तो मुझे देख के विश्वास कर ले कि I am worthy to be casted in a film like Dunki. And thankfully finally it happened. So when Dunki happened, this was a very मतलब not like I did it on a paper or anything, but I knew mentally, okay, now it's time to shift gears. Now it's time that I need to change my strategy of how I'm going to, what kind of films I'm going to approach. What kind means it is not like I'm going to change the genre of my films that I do. It's about the scale of the films, the number of films that I'm going to do in a year. I've decided now, either I do these big films which help me get the audience, or I do films where I strongly believe that 10 years also from now, they'll be relevant. Like, this will be like that treasured part of my filmography that you would want to keep watching it no matter how many years later. So this or that, there is no midway left for me anymore.
You have hustled, you're proud of that hustle, and so are we. But मुझे लगता है you have got caught in the camps where I feel like you felt alienated. But I feel like this kind of brings back, what do I say, the warmth a little more, right? Because when someone becomes successful, then people forget that.
Yeah, success has many fathers, failures have none. ये तो सभी जानते हैं. Camps, yeah, they are there. The problem with, or the roadblock with camps, or the great nepotism word that we speak about, is the problem of access. It's not like tomorrow if there is a big film getting casted and if my name is taken in that room, that people will say ke अरे इससे नहीं हो पाएगा. I'm sure nobody will disrespect me like that.
No.
But the problem is that name only will not be taken because there will be 50 other recommendations before. And I don't have someone who's going to stand there recommending my name. So how do I make into that room? That access is what I don't have. So courtesy my films only, I had that access कि चलो अभी चल रही है कोई picture और उस time पे कोई film package कर रहा है तो my film is doing well around, so they'll be like हाँ इसको cast कर लेते हैं. So maybe like this I get my name is getting taken in those rooms, but mostly these big films, it's about access more than anything else. It's about access, and I do not have that access. I still don't have that access. So that is one problem that the camp system or the industry insider system has, that we've been battling and we will continue to battle. I mean, I don't want to cry over spilled milk or be bitter about it. This has been the harsh reality since years, and I've figured out a way up till now. तो आगे भी देख लेंगे.
बिल्कुल. और काम तो बोलेगा ही.
हाँ, और कुछ है नहीं बोलने के लिए.
It also comes from the fact that you've donned the producer's hat. When I could see that during Dhak Dhak. Because when you put out that post saying I don't, I'm all the best for the film and everything else. I'm happy with it and all of that. But I know that things didn't go out the way, and as a producer, because I know how excited you were when you were leading it, it must have been in a way traumatizing that you had to put that out. I mean, I know you as a person to ask you this. So I want to know what happened there and what are the lessons you learned so that anybody else who's trying to fight the battle, maybe it'll be easier for them.
So this is what I mentioned a couple of minutes back to you regarding the whole battle with getting budget sanctioned for films which are not your conventional films, is somewhere the reason behind what happened. So I have a very big problem in life in general with things like when I've been taught a certain thing or been told a certain thing, I trust you because I am that person. अगर मैं कुछ बोल रही हूँ, I mean it and you can trust me. So ऐसे ही कोई सामने वाला बंदा कुछ बोलता है, अगर हमारी कोई बात हुई है, कमिटमेंट है किसी चीज़ को लेके, प्रोजेक्ट को लेके, तो I trust you. तो when that doesn't happen, I feel like कि अरे ये तो but मतलब ऐसे तो decided नहीं था. So what happens is things change over years. The audience, as I said, liking changes. The situation in the business of cinema changes, and but I've been with what I was told back then, and I've made the same film that I ventured out to make. Situation change after that was probably not in my hand. How can I be unfair to this film?
So true.
Because of that. So again, it's business. So sometimes you have to take that some certain harsh decisions. That really pained me that a film like that did not get a fair chance in theatres. Because again, as I said, OTT only wants those films for originals as well, where they believe that these are these big scale masala films and the commercial films and all of that. They're not they don't sanction good budgets for films which are like those old school OTT films. So original पे नहीं जा सकती ऐसी films. So the recovery उधर से नहीं आएगी film की. Now theatre के अंदर obviously the distributors don't want to put up a film saying कि अरे इसको तो कोई देखने नहीं आता है. It doesn't have your regular commercial cinema thing, so nobody will come and watch it. So neither here nor there. So all this while, the bunch of people who believed in it and gave it all that they had to make this film, by the time the picture बन के ready हुई, things change and सबने मतलब ऐसा give up कर दिया उसके ऊपर कि भाई अब तो यही है situation जो है. They'll have their own reasons to do it, I'm sure, but it was very painful for someone who had emotional investment in the film.
Of course.
So it was not about earning some bucks, because when you're beginning any business, everybody knows कि स्टार्टिंग में कोई अपना प्रॉफिट लॉस नहीं देखता है. पहले ये देखता है कि अपनी इमेज बना लें, कोई इक्विटी बना लें, कोई मतलब ऐसा क्वालिटी बना लें, सो दैट लेटर ऑन आई कैन मेक मनी ऑन इट. आई एम इन दैट स्टेज. So that's why it hurt, because I was too emotionally invested in that film. Okay, how can a film like this not get a fair chance? Is what I was really not happy about. But look at how God has his own way of probably giving it and a new opening of sorts. When it came on OTT for post release, I remember it came a day after Archies, and I was like, oh, such a big film, Archies, and my film is again going to get like
washed
because it's going to all like submerge in that whole the attention that Archie is going to get. Nobody's going to bother watching Dhak Dhak. Within 24 hours we started trending on #1, and we were trending on #1 for 2 weeks in India. So it was such a pleasant surprise, almost when I gave up on the bad luck. I mean ये picture की किस्मत ही शायद खराब है कि कुछ इसका हमेशा इसके साथ कुछ बुरा हो जाता है. But look at how things change on the last ball. That last window that we had, उस पे वो last ball पे जो छक्का मारा उस picture ने. So I think courtesy that we got, all the love that we got is more than all the money that I could have possibly made had I, probably thought about making money on a film like this.
I have always loved your conversations on Twitter because I felt there was a lesson to learn. You always known that if I am being disrespected, you will call it out. Which you've done it in a funny way on Twitter. In real life, you've also taken that position to say it to others, which I think is something that we should never give up on, right? But I feel you've gone quieter. And I want to know, is it because you're choosing your peace?
So I have I actually thought over it for a long time. Should I just be the way I was on Twitter? But for what? Now what I think is, when I say something out there, I used to think, okay, someone's getting probably encouraged in a good way, or probably feels like, someone is resonating with my voice. Maybe that is why it's fun to say things out there. But I realize the number of people who can probably get influenced with my voice or what I believe in are probably watching my films, probably watching my interviews. They can still hear me saying all these things. But the majority that's there on social media today is just out there to either create an issue, to build that toxic environment, so where you have the privilege of hiding behind a screen, where you have the liberty to say anything to anyone without really having a name to yourself. That exploiting that privilege of anonymity and trying to encourage hatred has become the primary agenda of people on social media. For me, Twitter was a two-way process. I used to not just write, I used to read and reply. Instagram, on the other hand, is for me a one-way social media, like where you just put it out and you're out. So I realized Twitter ka dialogue is not, because the people who I'm having dialogue with don't want to have a dialogue. They only want to throw hatred and not give an ear or have a mind to think and process. It's not a healthy discussion. They cannot agree to disagree, which is a mark of a matured, sensible discussion. They cannot do that. So why spend my time, effort? As I said, before I used to react to things because I used to feel like, like how I think that everybody can have their own choice of whatever they would want to do and follow in life. They also should give me that choice. So when I used to see someone not doing that, I used to reply and make fun of it or be sarcastic about it or be angry about it or whatever. But then I realized I cannot expect everybody to be like me. Because generally क्या होता है, तुम्हें जैसा लगता है तुम जैसे हो, तुम उसी लेंस से वर्ल्ड को देखते हो. तो जब then it took me a while to understand, okay, it's wrong for me to expect everybody to be how I am or how I look at life. So in that process, I don't want to kill the happiness of my life in trying to convert them to understand where I'm coming from, because they are not there to understand where I'm coming from. They are just there to have some kind of a chatter about something because that's giving them relevance, or they are getting some 10 rupees for a tweet. Either of these two things. So I don't want to pull myself down to their level to have that conversation when I can do so much better with my life. That's what I started doing.
You've always spoke out when you thought it was important, and for yourself. और मुझे लगता है ये lesson I think women sometimes forget because we are told take the easier way out, and it has costed you, but you have still spoken. You know, whether it is about whatever you might have gone through in the industry. You know, I know that you're looked upon as an opinionated actor who has views and stuff.
Which is a big problem if you have an opinion or if you have a mind. I'm mostly looked upon as someone who is... it's a major issue, I'll tell you, which is very funny for me to come across, is that I feel कि अच्छा, you will तो not do films where you are not the center of attention. Basically, where you're not the hero of the film. I said, but who said that? I said, no, that's the opinion everybody has. Why? Just because I'm doing films where I play pivotal parts, because I get only those, I still end up doing one odd film like a Surma or a Mission Mangal or a Judwa 2. I try to do that to tell you that I also sometimes want to relax and not bother about, as I said, headlining something. But I guess the impact of the films that I have done as protagonist is so much that they have conveniently assumed that I will not do these kind of films, so they don't even want to put me in that spot of putting me in those kind of films. So like this, there are so many other notions about me which people have, which surely the people have, and they have because they have not interacted with me. They have not had a one-person encounter with me. It's a hearsay, or it's like something you see from a distance and you assume कि ये ऐसा ही होगा without really interacting with me. Just because I have my mind very clear as to what I like, what I don't like, just because I know what I want in my life, doesn't make me a difficult person. It actually makes me an easy person because I am very clear. I'm not confused at all. At the same time, I am that person. I'm more than happy to disagree with you and be fine with it. I mean, I don't have to always either convince you that, you have to agree with what I am saying. I'm not that person. I'm happily okay. I can sit and chat on table with people who have different social, political, whatever views about anything. I'm very easy like that. But I guess just because I have my thoughts so clear, it just probably comes across कि ये तो मतलब दूसरों की सुनेगी ही नहीं. Come have a chai with me or coffee with me. You will probably wake up to reality and stop presuming things, which is convenient, especially with women. It also is, I feel, Rudani, it's intimidating, which is also difficult for people to accept. It's intimidating to have someone in the room who's so sure. And this is regardless of gender. If it's a man also or it's a woman, if someone is so clear and confident about themselves and so secure, that person can be really intimidating. I have met guys who are even more sure about their thought and what they do more than me. And I have no I have no qualms in accepting the fact that I do get intimidated when I see them wow, that's some really strong personality. So that intimidating personality, when women have, it doesn't go down very well because we are expected to be Lajwanti
and coy.
Yeah, we expected to be that, we'll just do that and get away with it. I can't do that. I look very bad doing that also. Don't come with a set image of how a good girl in your life should be. That is where the problem starts.
Has this affected your romantic and dating life previously as well?
No, it hasn't, because I've not had a very flamboyant dating life, honestly. Sure. So, and I was very, obviously I had to kiss many frogs before I reached the prince, like all of us. So, but I was, eventually when I grew up, in the sense, when I started working, it's been the same man, and that's because he's a man. He's not a boy. And that is a huge difference. And I knew that when I was single before that, I was sure that only a man will have the sense of security to be with me, and I don't even want to short sell myself because it's too much of emotional investment, and it will not just affect me, it will affect my family, it will affect everyone, it will affect my day-to-day job. I don't want to do that with myself and my work and my mental status. So I know I want to be with a man and not a boy.
And you are, but and he's lovely. You've always told your sister and the friends around you that you cannot change with the person. I feel like with Mathias, I have never seen you change from who you were.
No, because then I never felt the baggage of a relationship, and I think every girl should actually think of it. Probably this is one of those testing parameters. Do you feel the baggage of the relationship, or you feel like you can fly because you are in this relationship? If you're feeling the baggage, that means that's a red flag. So that's a very clear way of deciding if it's a red flag or it's good to go.
I hope everyone deserves someone like that, because we all deserve green flag men,
yeah, all.
and yours
I
is
agree.
definitely one green flag.
I agree. Everybody should deserve. Everybody needs that green flag in their life, like to get rid of that stress.
Taapsee, there are not too many Mathias. I just want to put it out there. So, you started from being a confident person to becoming a very confident person. Taapsee Pannu never went from the time I known her कि हम लोग होते less confident, थोड़ा और confidence बढ़ेगा. Taapsee went from confident to more confident to more confident.
No, but it has been. We all have a good and a bad day, yaar.
Sure. And we will talk about the bad days also, right? When you feel whatever. But I'm saying that I want to know the lessons you've learned in becoming this confident person today as a female actor in the industry today.
First, develop a lot of patience. Develop a lot of patience to deal with a lot of bullshit. Have the tolerance to sit across the table with people who you totally disagree with, but still have to work with, because that will help you eventually put across your point in the larger scheme of things. Be smart and not impulsive. I feel there are a lot of these lessons I'm telling you in a go, but I've learned them over 10 years. It's not like I'm a very impulsive person in a lot of ways. I was in terms of my work also. If I don't like the way you talk to me, I don't want to be on that set because I feel disrespected. But over the years, I tried to now figure out how to convert that disrespect into something that, I do something that it makes the other person feel like it was worth having her on board. So I've kind of like, there's a lot of strategizing that happens in a female actor's mind. So let me just be honest, the people who think just because the girls who do these singing, dancing, fun looking, sexy stuff are not smart and they're bimbo, it's not like that. No actress in the film industry who's surviving today is stupid. No actress is a bimbo. Yes, they might do certain kind of parts that might make you feel like that, but the sheer fact that they are standing there in the industry today, being the leading lady, amongst all the people who call the shots and still like sustain for years, they for sure are not bimbo. So stop judging by the characters they play on screen. They are extremely smart and hence they are surviving in this industry. Otherwise, this industry can really trigger you at every step and mentally trigger, which is far more damaging than anything else, because it leaves you long-lasting impressions in your mind that you probably cannot cure or you have to live with. So all the girls out here are actually very smart to be here. Some have, as I said, choices may vary, but they're all very smart. So over the years is what I've realized, that never judge your contemporaries' choices by saying ke, this is so stupid, ye to bakwas kaam kar rahi hai. She has her own reasons, and if she's doing certain kind of roles, it's because she's very realistic, that she knows that this is what she can do best.
Yeah.
So she's making sure she's making the most out of her strength. So stop judging people on the face value or just on whatever limited knowledge you have about them. So I have learned that, and I think this work teaches you more quicker. The other friends who I have beyond film industry, I talk to them and I go back to my college days, I feel, because they're still the same kind of conversation. And I feel when I'm here in this industry, I feel have grown so much more. I feel actually much older to them mentally, because I guess the kind of circumstances we have tackled and been in have shown us more and have made us more matured as a human being than probably a lot of others who are not in this kind of an industry.
No, because you said that, it takes me to the point which Taapsee has said in my interview in a lot of jest, and that kind of stuck, obviously had to go viral, where you had said that I don't think I'll be invited in coffee because my sex life is not important. You had said it as a joke, right? And you still...
And I still believe so.
and you still believe so. You said it as a joke, and I mean, you know it. You said that mera itna kuch hai nahi interesting, right?
Yeah.
So that still remains, and she still believes so. But I feel like also the parties that you see everybody inviting, all the biggest events that I see a lot of people being and posing and feeling the need to go there, you have still at this point have not bowed down to the thing कि नहीं मुझे जाना ही है, is something, again, I know it comes from a place of security, and also she's like, अगर मुझे जाना है तो मैं जाऊंगी, you know, I'm not going to ask people why have I not been invited, get me invites. But you know this is true. There are actors who push themselves to be
I was told when I came here in the industry in the beginning, I was told to send messages to these biggies so that they invite me to their birthday parties and all of that, which I refused to do at that point also because I was very uncomfortable doing that. Even now, I don't do that. Well, I know many more people now, but still, I'm not a person. I think the fact that I cannot be up for long after 10 p.m. is a major reason. I actually cannot stay up after 10 o'clock. I usually get up around sunrise time. I like to wake up with sunrise, and once the sun sets, I'm also like setting. So I make fun of myself saying I'm like a Surajmukhi. So the moment it says
cute. I like it.
Yeah, I'm also Leo, right? So I think that sun is my sign.
Thing.
Yeah. So I guess that comes from that. But I'm not a person who is that party rager. So I don't drink, I don't smoke, which I don't have a problem with at all. And people who doing it are for fun, socializing, में कोई problem नहीं है उसके अंदर. I just am not doing it, so I don't know what to do there. I love dancing in parties. So I go to my friends' ki parties or few handful of people who I know who call me for their whatever reason, party, birthday, anniversary, whatever. I go there and I party in terms of I go dance. They play music, I'll be like dancing there happily. खाना खाऊंगी मैं अच्छे से. I eat really well. It's not like I'm nibbling on things and all. I'll come back. So I have very limited circle, and I really don't want to get into the personal parties of people who I don't know personally, because मैं क्या बात करूँगी एक time के बाद. So just to save myself from awkwardness, I don't go. But if I've had a good relation with someone who's been nice to me, I'm fond of someone, I'll definitely go there if I'm invited. But because I don't generally go, लोगों को पता है कि आएगी ही नहीं, तो आधे टाइम तो मेरे को invite भी नहीं आते हैं.
And I'm saying, the continuous question, I mean, after that was the fact that it also comes from a place of security.
Yeah, मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि मैं पार्टी नहीं जाऊँगी तो मतलब मेरा काम नहीं चलेगा. I don't have that. Again, that might be, as I said before, access के बारे में. This is also a way of getting access into the camps.
Yeah.
That you go to the parties and you socialize. It is all fine. You socialize with people, you become friends, and then you get into the camps and then you work with them a lot. But to get to that position, like to be in that camp, वो जो process of partying after 10 o'clock is just so draining for me that I feel like I'm doing something that's so not me. I can't sustain it for long. So might as well just like choose the harder way by doing a lot of films, do a lot of work. I don't have the liberty to not do good job in my films. मेरी film अच्छी है नहीं है. I don't have a liberty to do my job bad, because one bad performance of mine might just cost me a lot, because I don't have access into those camps to make up for it that easily. So I have to be sure I'm consistent. So that's the route I have taken.
Taapsee, who has contributed to your personality, you think? Like the women, you know, in your life?
I actually know one person, and it might be very cliche.
Sure.
I gathered first, you know, I'm not like my mom. And it's not like I got inspired from her कि मुझे ऐसा बनना है, because she has a totally different life from what I have.
But the fact, cycle also, right?
Yeah, and then from the fact that she believes in me कि मैं जो करूँगी ठीक करूँगी, and I'm smart enough to take my life decisions, was such a big gift. You know, where we struggle for our parents' ka validation, na?
Yeah.
They never believe that you can do things well. My mom always believed कि ये ठीक करेगी, जो भी करेगी ठीक करेगी. That gave me the biggest reason to fly, because she was there as that wind beneath my wings. ये ठीक करेगी. And beyond, once you start doing that, then you know that you have jumped into the deep end of the pool all by yourself. Now you need to learn the art of swimming while you're at it to survive. So then you start learning from everything that you're seeing around. So किसी का आपको वे ऑफ कॉन्डक्ट अच्छा लगता है, किसी का बात करने का तरीका अच्छा लगता है, किसी का मतलब डिफरेंट थिंग्स, द वे दे क्रैक अ डील अच्छा लगता है, डिफरेंट द वे समवन डज एन इंटरव्यू अच्छा लगता है, किसी की आवाज़ अच्छी लगती है, किसी का परफॉर्मेंस किसी फिल्म में अच्छा लगता है. सो आई स्टार्टेड पिकिंग अप वट एवर आई लाइक्ड इन everybody and tried to like learn as much as I could from all of those things put together. So there has never been one person. There have been people behind the camera so much. There have been ADs. I have noticed the way they control a big set of 250 people, a female associate director on set controlling 250 people, most of which are men, and controlling it so well. I applaud that as well, and I am impressed with that. I learn from that as well. So from there to, you know, all the big names that we have who made mark in the world, they all inspire me.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Are there any women from the industry, as in like actors, whose journey you have admired from far?
Most of this. You can start taking names from, obviously, from the way Priyanka has done whatever she has done, to the way even Anushka, how she chose to do whatever she wanted to do in her life, to the way Deepika how elegantly she straddles and goes through. It's not like she didn't have controversies in her life. It's not like she didn't have enough love in her life. She had all of it, and she's still like doing it so gracefully. You know, from Alia to like making most of the opportunities. It's easy to get things on the platter. We can always say that, but she's making sure she makes the most of it also, which we can give her the credit for. So like that. So all these women, I feel, have, as I said, kind of like made me feel like, okay, there's something very beautiful about the agency of power that they have had in their life, which I want to also have and continue having in my life.
Here is what I want to say. I hope you get a lot of that. I know that there are few projects. I can say I have heard this story, that story, but I'm going to directly ask you. Tell me few things. I know, of course, there is a South film. I'm saying the word South because I know it's a specific industry. So I want to ask you, which are the films that are in the pipeline that are working, that are a little exciting, that you can give us little hints about, talk about?
So there is the South film. Let's talk about that. It's a Tamil film.
Yeah.
It's called Alien. It's not about an alien creature. It's actually an energy that seeps into the Earth's atmosphere and how it starts affecting one person to the other. It's a very experimental science fiction / supernatural mix of things, which is very exciting for me because this is purely one of its kind of a film. So that's what is almost done. I've left with 2 days of shoot. Then I have Haseen coming up, the part 2, my beautiful franchise. And then I have Khel Khel Mein, which is a multi-starrer, which is going to be a laugh riot. It's Mudassar Aziz's film. Akshay sir is also there in the film. So there are a lot of us, Vani, Ami, Pragya, Aditya, Fardeen Khan is there in the film. So there are a lot of us in the film. It's going to be a laugh riot. So these are the films, and I have Wo Ladki Hai Kahan with Prateek Gandhi. That's also ready. So I mean, these are like, as I said, that's the reason why I'm going slow as well, because I want these films to come out before I again start doing new stuff, because then they'll also be ready, and then, you know, everything will come in together. If you saw Dunki and you liked my comedy in it, I've just started. Trust me, they're like, there'll be so much of comedy that you'll be like, ki ab to ye back-to-back comedy kar rahi hai, because I also wanted a relief factor.
You wanted.
But I wanted to do comedy where I'm doing comedy. It's not, I didn't want to be the subject of joke. So that is why I kind of waited for very long to get a good comedy. So all the comedy films that I'm doing now, be it, you know, Dunki that happened, to Khel Khel Mein, to even Wo Ladki Hai Kahan, you'll see me doing comedy.
I had spoken to Mr. Hirani and I asked, what did you feel about directing that scene where she's in the courthouse and he, like, she says, go away. Taapsee comes running because it's like that iconic romantic Shah Rukh hug, which I know, Taapsee, a dream come true. Let's go. You know what I mean?
See, I think that scene, it is a classic Shah Rukh Khan love story scene. I was just glad to be a part of it and not let it down. But let me tell you a good trivia about that day that we shot that scene. It was my birthday.
Oh, it was?
It was my birthday, and I went on like everywhere on the set. I kept saying, "This is my birthday gift. This is the best birthday gift ever, that I get to do a classic Shah Rukh Khan romantic sequence on my birthday. I will remember it for the rest of my life. Like, what better birthday than to run and hug him on record in 48 frames, round trolley." So I remember that. I like, this is my happy birthday.
I know.
This was my birthday. So I remember I started that day wiping the floor of a train station because we were doing that sequence. And then cut to the next scene that we had to do that day was this. And I was like, wow, like starting the day like that and eventually finishing it like this, it is just so perfect. So that's why I told you this, because I think I remember it because of this as well, that it happened on my birthday. And I shamelessly took it like the best birthday gift ever I could have. If you ask me in future probably what was the best birthday gift, I think it was this.
This is so amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm so happy for you. You know that.
Yeah.
But interestingly, you spoke about comedy being appreciated. You know, no, that now your cooking skills are being viral on internet with your scene saying
Paratha.
Paratha scene.
Yeah. I'm really happy that people are enjoying that scene, because when we did it, एक तो वो सीन शूट करने से एक दिन पहले मी एंड राजू सर एंड अभिजात करने का, ऑल ऑफ अस वर सिटिंग टुगेदर इन अ मीटिंग रूम एंड डिस्कसिंग कि ये लिख तो दिया है ऑन पेपर कि ये बोलना है उसको पराठा की रेसिपी, बट हाउ कैन वी मेक इट लाइक रियली इंडियरिंगली फनी एंड नॉट मेक इट लुक लाइक चीजी एंड वियर्ड. We kept thinking about it, what words, ये ज़्यादा हो गया, ये कम. And because they hadn't seen me doing a full-fledged comedy sequence, they were also not very sure कि कैसे आएगा. So I kept practicing there in front of them कि नहीं सर ऐसे कर देती हूँ, ऐसे कर देती हूँ. And I'm not a person who enjoys doing a lot of rehearsals, because I feel like I'll get spent, and जब मैं करूँगी ना मुझे feel नहीं आएगी अंदर से. I'll feel like I'm just hitting marks.
Yeah.
So I wanted to save that also with me, to spontaneously come up with something which is fresh and nice. So when we shot that sequence, I think we were okay in the first take. And I remember Raju sir had kept the entire first half of the shooting day for this scene, thinking कि पता नहीं कितना time लगेगा इसको crack करने में, क्या पता कुछ अच्छा लगे ना लगे. And even my co-actress, the lady who was sitting across the table, she was so bang on with giving me my cues, with giving me the reactions, that I was feeding I was getting fed in terms of my energy by what she was doing. So that really, it worked out so brilliantly. One take, it was done. And then Raju sir and Abhijat, they all started looking at each other like, अब ये बाकी के 4 घंटे क्या करना है? So, but then
amazing, right?
Yeah, it was amazing. Then we just like for fun did a 1 or 2 more takes, but it was all done in the first take.
You know, they say that you should not meet your idols, but I know in some of the cases that, you know, because you get disappointed, right? But I know in one case that I know that you will completely say that you should, was in your case with SRK, right?
Yeah.
And now you worked with him as a co-actor. I want to tell you, they say there are few good men in the industry, and people usually say Shah Rukh is among them.
Yeah. That's
I
true.
want to now know your experience about now that you worked with him as a co-actor.
Yeah, so I would like to now officially validate all those rumors about his gentlemanliness.
Anna?
They're all true. All these things about how he makes everyone feel comfortable, about the way he treats women on set, and all is true. His humor, his wit, his intelligence, everything is true. I used to look forward to just spending those minutes and hours between shots with him. Because in front of the camera, so you know you're trying to just be in the character and perform the way the director is expecting you to perform. But my personal learning was beyond that, because I wanted to sit with him and just listen to him, his experiences, which really will help me understand what a person who comes from there, where he has come from, to build the empire that he is for himself. It was just a walking, talking class all the time, I feel. I at least wanted to receive it like that, which I did, I feel. I tried to make the most of those 90 days roughly that I shot with him over 2 years. And I told him also, I said, I don't know if and when I'll ever get a chance to do this again. So I'm going to be shamelessly try to just be that fly on the wall in whatever conversation he's having on the set, because I want to make sure I learn as much as I can from his experiences.
I mean, I would want to say congratulations to you. I'll be most happy if it is true, because I have rooted for both of you, because you're a wonderful women, but it is your moment. There are so many stories about wedding is going to be private, which I am 100% sure because you are a private person. I'm like, this I know because you're a private person. And considering people today, you know, are making their weddings like a, you know, let our fans see the whole world the way we are. I know that will not be in your case. But if you would like to say to anybody who's asking, is Taapsee getting married? Absolutely your way of saying it. Please let us
First
know.
of all, people didn't expect me to get married or what?
I don't know, yeah. You've been trending, you know that. And for a change, Taapsee, there is no controversy. No one's putting a case.
You don't have an issue with it. Oh my
I want to say there's no case happening.
Oh, thank God. Oh,
You were trending yesterday.
Only until they find some issue with it also, that how can she be with this
Please
one?
don't say it. Listen,
You never know.
don't say that. But yeah, I think they were expecting you.
See, everybody, I don't know if people had doubts that I'll get married one day. I want to get married one day, and whenever I do, they'll get to know about it. And it's stupid to start speculations especially if you wanted to start speculations, you should have started it 10 years back. When I started dating this man, because I was sure within a year that whenever I marry, I'll marry this man. So it has been like that. But I just, until this happens, I don't understand. You people love me for the work I do. I don't understand why do I have to give clarifications. Okay, नहीं हो रही है, क्या हो रही है, नहीं हो रही है, किसके साथ हो रही है, कब हो रही है. I mean, this is not what you guys know me for.
No.
So why be so curious about it? And if it's, the more you try to prod and poke in, I feel I get more guarded. And if you let it be, if I find the right place and moment for it, I'll myself talk about it. But this forceful prodding in someone's life, when you know very well that this person is, if I have to announce it, I'll do it. Matlab, am I doing something wrong? It's a part of our life which is accepted by everyone, marriage.
100%.
It's not like I'm cheating on anyone. It's not like I'm doing something that is illegal. So why this whole thing about, and I'm a single person.
Yeah.
So obviously you didn't expect me to get married or what? I don't understand what is this whole, and I've been very honest about my relationship.
100%.
It's not like I've hidden it. No. So whenever it happens, you'll get to know.
The only reason I brought it up is because I was very happy to see you trending.
For something which is not
which I'm like, no. I'm just happy.
Thank you.
That you were trending for nice things. This is a sweet thing. For a change. For a change. See, that we can acknowledge. But before we end, of course, some fun questions to banta hai.
Haan, bolo.
All right. Are you ready, Taapsee?
I'm very ready.
So, three female producers who you think are really trying to do some path-breaking work in the industry.
Guneet Monga.
Okay.
I'll also give credit to Riya Kapoor. They are too chalk and cheese in terms of the films they make. But yes, they at least have a strong vision and they go for it. And Ekta.
Fantastic choices. I know I didn't ask you, but I also take Taapsee's name in it.
Oh yeah, मतलब अब खुद के मुंह क्या मियाँ मिठू
मैं कर देती थी कोई नहीं. Any 2 or 3 roles that you felt truly defined better writing roles for female actors?
Okay.
According to you, कोई भी हो सकता है.
I'll tell you from the time that I have seen the change happen. It will start with Vidya, because of what she did in Dirty Picture or Kahani.
Correct.
That was big change. That's why I always call her my hero, because she made me wake up to the fact that this can happen.
Yeah.
That, Kangna for Queen, she changed it with Tanu Weds Manu and Queen. And then I feel now, I don't want to be modest in this. It's because it's not to my credit, but Anubhav Sinha's, that Thappad was something.
I agree.
So it's not about my character, it's because of the writing, as you said.
Yeah.
That was a writing for a female's story that really changed a lot of things where screenwriting was concerned for female films.
I know you've given enough auditions, so I want to know, what has been the most obnoxious audition that you had to get?
I'll tell you, I've not given many, because I've always failed, and I've stopped giving auditions after that. Because I've failed. I'm terrible in auditions because I'm not a trained actor. I don't know the art of acting the moment light and camera is pura mein, ab bolna shuru kar do. I need like proper setup to start performing. So I'll tell you one which I did for an ad, which again I got rejected for. I had to eat a chocolate just out of bed, go to my side table, pick up a chocolate and just like start enjoying it. Like first thing in the morning I have to do that. It was a chocolate ka commercial which I failed terribly. I mean, I'm kya hi bolu. Yeah, it was very bad audition.
What is one advice you'd give to the 18-year-old Taapsee?
Oh, it's going to be a tornado of a ride. Brace yourself. उसी की पेटी बांध लीजिए. क्योंकि आपका वक्त बदलने वाला है. At 18, I never knew I will become an actor. Never wanted to be one, right? So I think that will be apt. आपका वक्त, जिंदगी सब बदलने वाली है. आप कुर्सी की पेटी बांध लीजिए.
Advice to the young female actors who plan to join the industry today.
I actually feel, whenever I see one on a set that I go to, who's relatively new, I love to have conversations with them because I know I didn't have many like that when I was new. And I love to share my experiences with them. I love to tell them that please don't follow a formula, make your own formula. Nobody else's formula is going to work for you. You're just going to do huge injustice to yourself by following someone else's formula that has worked for someone else's. Only to realize later that only the stuff that is meant for you or you are good at is what will work for you. So be very authentic, make your own formula. Don't follow anyone's footsteps.
As a female producer, what is one advice you'd give to the ones who are coming up new? Because now there are a lot of producers, women who are in these rooms.
Be very smart. Remember your ethics, but be very smart how to play the game. Because you have to, if you really want to be there and eventually stand up and follow what you really want to do blatantly, be very smart in the initial stages in terms of how to maneuver the hurdles. Because if you're going to stand strong, as I said, they're going to just break you away. So just be very smart as to choose your battles is probably a better thing to say. Choose your battles very wisely.
Of course, one message for all the people who are watching you today. It's a special Women's Day, special conversation. What will you tell them?
You know, this Women's Day, every year we have a lot of people who stand up and say, "Arey, why one day? Every day should be a Women's Day," and this whole debate that starts on it. And I feel जिस दिन equality हो जाएगी ना, उस दिन मनाना बंद कर देना. अभी तो far away from that है. तो it's not about more than celebration, it's that day for me where I feel like we can all take a few minutes to introspect what have we done to make the difference, rather get the difference less and get it to equality. What have we done for that? So take a few moments out of your life today. Even men, I feel, you know, because unless until we have their support, we probably cannot win this battle of equality. So everybody needs to just give a few moments to understand that in the last 1 year, what did you do to bridge this gap?
Happy Women's Day.
Happy Women's Day to you too.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, my pleasure.
And you know that my love for you is infinite. More power to you every day, Taapsee.
Thank you.
And in this battle, I hope that we can be a small part of your journey.
You will always be there, my friend.
Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Dr. Rishikesh Pai. I'm a gynecologist and infertility specialist practicing since 1990. And I am the medical director of Bloom IVF Group, and we have many clinics. Two main clinics are in Mumbai at Lilavati Hospital and in Delhi at Fortis Lafam Hospital. Normally, an egg freezing procedure would involve taking the eggs out and then freezing them and storing them in liquid nitrogen. So the overall cost of this procedure ranges between 1.5 lakhs to 2.5 lakhs with an average of 2 lakhs, where the storage is done for nearly 5 years.